I can almost bet your eyes have looked just like this at the store a lot these days. We all feel the pain of inflation right now.
Yeah, the latest numbers don't look good. The Consumer Price Index has prices up more than 9% from last year. It's everything, right? It's food, it's clothes, it's gas.
On and on. It's put people in a real bind. One family had to figure out how to make sure they could even get their daughter to the hospital because gas prices are so high.
15-year-old Ginger Vincent's health depends on a key calculation.
Do we have enough gas to do it? Because we got appointments on Wednesday, appointments on Thursday.
Ginger, who lives for sports, was diagnosed with bone cancer more than a year ago.
The first thought that I had was, don't cry. I was in front of my parents and I wanted to be strong for them.
It's just hard to see her like that. She was so healthy and vibrant. Smart. Just to see her wasting away in bed.
Parents Keith and Annalisa Vincent have watched Ginger go through chemo and multiple surgeries, even lung surgery, just last week.
Physical therapy,
Ginger's
CT
appointment.
scan.
Ginger's appointments, including physical therapy, are at times more than an hour away from her home in rural Indiana. With gas prices more than doubling in the past year, the family now spends more than $200 a week on gas. Money they don't always have.
Let's pay the mortgage first. Let's pay the majority of the bills. But at the end of the day, I said, wait a minute, we do not have money for gas.
You've been in that situation?
Oh yeah.
So I end up like going to Instant Cash. That's our best friend right now.
Instant cash?
Instant Cash.
Those are short-term, high-interest loans they need to afford transportation to Ginger's appointments.
Thank you.
They've cut back on groceries, a sacrifice not lost on their daughter.
Having to watch them, we have to pay this bill, we have to pay that, and I'm downstairs and I hear all of that. It just seems so stressful and I just feel bad for them.
The Vincents say they're keeping their eyes on what matters.
People have certain bickerings, everyday trials. Oh, rent, food, but you kind of like work it out. When you got cancer, that kind of stuff fades away.
We're not worried about, even though we can't afford certain things. The big picture is her.
That family is far from alone. Americans everywhere say inflation is one of their top concerns. A recent news poll found 93% of Americans worry about how high the prices are. More than half think it will keep getting worse. A separate poll from Monmouth University found 42% of Americans struggle to remain financially steady.
To help with inflation, the Federal Reserve is expected to raise interest rates again next week. Experts think we'll see another 0.75% rate increase. The Fed hopes that will finally get spending under control. They've done it several times recently. It just takes time to catch up.
It can really lag. So the impact of those rate increases takes a while to trickle through the economy.
Experts say we likely won't see meaningful inflation relief until the fall. It's not all doom and gloom in the economy, though. One of the big issues causing inflation is supply chain bottlenecks.
Okay, so here's the silver lining, at least so we think. Experts say that's starting to get back on track. Now shoppers nationwide are seeing a big surprise when they go shopping. Experts say bigger discounts could soon come since stores have full warehouses.
They aren't even accepting some returns because they have too much stuff. They're telling customers to hold on to their items.
It's just racks on racks on racks of clearance.
It's a big surprise for shoppers burdened by rising prices.
Is this really $6.64 was $21?
Deep discounts across the country.
It's a retail Armageddon.
And retail consultant Bert Flickinger says that's good news for shoppers.
Biggest discounts, consumer electronics, sporting goods, on apparel, clothes, accessories.
It's cargo that was stuck in a traffic jam at sea during the pandemic. Well, now those ships have come in at a time when inflation is forcing consumers to cut back.
Too many goods and too many stores chasing too few shoppers with too few dollars.
He estimates some stores are overstocked by more than 30%, and there's just no place to put everything. Target recently admitted it needs to right-size its inventory, and the retailer's plans include additional markdowns. The extra goods often end up at liquidators like Bargain Hunt, which sells items at up to 70% off retail. But this time, Norm Rankin is seeing something different.
The condition of the product, it's never left the case. It didn't make it to the stores. It's not dog-eared or wrinkled or ruffled having been on a shelf.
Every available space is filled with product.
The inventory overload is even hitting small business owners like toy seller Miriam Al-Hamami.
Did you ever think you'd be in a position to understand what Target and Walmart are going through?
My first thought was, I'm glad I'm not them, right? But then all of a sudden I realized I am them.
But she's not having a fire sale just yet. Her suppliers keep raising prices, so she's trying to store those extra toys until demand comes back.
So sitting on product that I purchased for 20% less is a better option than purchasing it for 20% more next month.
Cargo container prices for shipping things are already falling rapidly. That is great news for the supply chain, and it's good news for your wallet as well. Now, several indexes say prices to ship things peaked around September. Since then, it's just kept falling and falling, and that means you should soon see a notice in price drops as well, because businesses can afford to buy more goods at a cheaper rate.
You know, prices, they keep going up and up and up. We know that the new number, 9.1% inflation, is what we did see. That is the highest since all the way back in 1982, largely driven by a spike in gas prices, which went up 11% last month. But before you hear that dun 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 sound in the back of your mind, it is not all doom and gloom. Let's go back to that graph for a second. I want to zoom in on this last part right here. You see the consumer price index, it's for all different kinds of items. But economists say it's also important to look at this line right here, minus food and energy. If you look at all the other stuff out there, here's the real deal. Inflation is actually starting to go down, meaning that prices are still going up, but not by as much.
Now remember, driving around town, seeing these kinds of signs, gas for more than $4.50. Now if you drive around, you see signs more like this, $4.15. It is a welcome sign all over the Triad. AAA's map shows the average gallon of gas costing about $4.14 in Guilford. Randolph County fell all the way below $4. Experts say we can expect the relief to keep on coming.
We think it's reasonable to expect more gas stations to lower their prices in response to lower input costs, and thus, barring unforeseen market disruptions, to see average prices fall below $4 per gallon in more places in coming weeks.
The White House also feels optimistic about President Biden's trip to Saudi Arabia.
Honestly, it is a really welcome sign. We've dealt with record high prices for months now. We've all paid too much.
We're ready to be done with it. No matter what it is, we have all paid too much.